office. Okay, Senator Kowski's up. Let's see, we have Senator Bell, who's on the committee. I'm going to present for Senator De Leon, Senator Laura, and Senator Wachowski, file item number 14, SB 680. Sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a jobs bill to ensure that single taxation of new vehicles sold in California to out-of-state purchasers. I want to thank the committee for their work on the analysis and want to address the point that was raised in the analysis. I will be with the chair's agreement, I'll be taking an amendment to address this risk of tax evasion. I'd like to include a requirement that out-of-state purchasers make a presentation of their out-of-state driver's license when they apply for this one-trip permit. So we'll do that. Now to the substance of SB 680. My assertion is that this is going to contribute to tourism in the economy of California when it's going to provide an incentive for out-of-state purchasers to come in to California. In my district, we all know I represent Tesla. They sell electric vehicles. People will come, hopefully fly into San Jose, come to Tesla, purchase a vehicle, have a 30-day permit, and can drive around to Los Angeles or Hollywood or wherever, and then take the vehicle back home with them, resulting in restaurant revenue, hotel stays, and other purchases. Currently, an out-of-state purchaser has an incentive to take delivery of the Tesla in some other state. There are states like Michigan and Texas that don't allow for direct purchase of a electric vehicle or any vehicle manufactured in California, where they can pay a lower rate of that tax. So thereby,
if one of these states, because of Tesla, I want to ask a question, because of Tesla's unique distribution system, are you saying, Senator, that what happens here is that you can't buy a Tesla directly? You can't go online and just order one?
Oh, you could. You could. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's. I don't know if anybody has done that.
Just put it on the back of a tractor trailer and send it to Texas or to any place else?
Yeah, they can do that. No, they can do that. They can ship it. Yeah, they can ship it to.
And so if I sell it, if I'm because there's no dealership network, if Tesla just goes online, didn't you just go online and buy one of these things?
No, you would do it through
in line.
You
pay sales tax on that, California sales tax?
Correct. If you did it online, you could do it in any state. You could do it in Michigan, not in Michigan, but you could do it in California. There's locations where you can purchase a Tesla in California or in New York or in Wisconsin. So it depends on what dealer you contact. But you couldn't, if you contacted the manufacturer right now, they just don't do that. Nobody's purchasing.
No, that's right. But hold on, but I'm trying to understand this. What I look at this, I mean, it might have a tourist effect, but these are expensive cars currently, and people aren't running around. They're rich people that got to afford one of these cars, right? This is not some low-end car for $10,000, $20,000. So folks these aren't tourists. To me, it's about taking a California manufacturer and letting them take and sell more products outside of California that put California workers to work.
Well,
helps the California economy. That's kind of how I look at the bill.
Right. Well, I mean, after reading the staff report, I had my staff do some research because there are other California manufacturers that are here in the electric vehicle segment doing direct sales and manufacturing here. I know down in Ontario, there's Phoenix Motor Company. Now, they do a light and medium duty truck, but they manufacture here in California. You've got Resvani Motors in Santa Ana. They do like a high performance car. You've got Super Performance in Irvine. They manufacture here. They do an electric high performance car. You've got the Electric Vehicle International in Stockton. So Tesla's the big elephant, I get that, but there are other manufacturers that are doing light trucks, or performance vehicles that are manufacturing here that could take advantage of the same.
Motorcycle manufacturers in California that sell outside the state?
Not enough. Not enough.
Not enough. Senator Laura.
My question, does this bill only affect Tesla, or does it affect?
No, it affects all these guys.
Okay.
Because it's broad. One of the language is extremely broad because we describe section 415 of the vehicle code, and when you look at 415, it simply states a motor vehicle is a vehicle that is self-propelled. there are many businesses, similarly situated to Tesla that would be able to take advantage
I
of
think
it.
going to Senator Laura's point, the notion here is that when it's a single company bill, our standards are different in how we do business.
Yeah.
And I think what Senator Kowski is answering the question is there's a number of other companies that are direct sales that do manufacture in California, so it's not a single company bill.
Right,
It's important.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't overlook the fact that, Tesla came into my district and invested $1.6 billion and now employs 8,000 people. So I'm mindful that they're doing something. I hope that it's copied by these other manufacturers in California, and this would allow those few people that want to come in and do the transaction here in California to, take advantage of SB 680. I do have from Tesla Daniel Witt, who will testify in support.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike is yours.
Thank you, sir.
Don't interrupt.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Daniel Witt. I'm the manager of business development and policy for Tesla Motors. I am here to testify in support of SB 680 along with my colleague, Mark Olson, who's our domestic tax director. As you know, Tesla was founded just over a decade ago to accelerate the world's transition to electric mobility by developing new energy storage solutions and inspiring the mass adoption of electric vehicles. To date, we've sold well more than 50,000 vehicles in over 35 countries, and our vehicles have traveled more than 931 million miles, saved more than 42.4 million gallons of gas, and mitigated more than 1 billion tons of carbon emissions.
Where's Fran Pavley when you need her on this thing?
That's right.
Hope she's listening.
Our partnership with the state of California began in earnest with the locating of our manufacturing at the former NUMMI facility in Fremont, California. As most of you know, Tesla purchased the NUMMI facility in 2010 after it shut down during the economic downturn. More than 25,000 Californians were affected by its closure. I'm pleased to report to you today that in the 4 years that we've operated the plant, we've transitioned the Tesla factory into a state-of-the-art facility which will assemble nearly 1,000 vehicles per week by the end of this year, and currently maintains employment levels at the site nearly equivalent to that of the previous tenants. In total, Tesla has directly invested more than $1.6 billion in the state of California and employs more than 8,000 people in both northern and southern portions of the state. We continue to invest in all of our California facilities and anticipate hiring more employees as the production ramp for our newest vehicle, the Model X, which begins later this year. The combination of growing interest in our vehicles and the innovation featured in our factory has led many out-of-state consumers to request to take delivery of their vehicles at the Tesla factory. Many of the world's notable automakers have developed customer experiences in partnership with their local governments to encourage consumers to make the journey to the factory of origin. However, current law in California inhibits this opportunity by virtue of a double or added tax scenario. Most drivers in the U.S. pay sales or use tax upon registering their vehicles in their state of residence. This is the state for all residents in the state of California. However, California state law also requires out-of-state residents to pay California state sales tax upon delivery, even if the vehicle is going to be registered in a different state. As such, if an out-of-state consumer wishes to take delivery at the Tesla factory, they are currently subject to both sales taxes from California as well as their home state, with limited options for recourse. Currently, these consumers, almost without exception, do not come to the factory to take delivery. As such, the state of California currently receives essentially no revenue from the actual sales transaction for these out-of-state consumers. Neighboring states like Oregon and Nevada either have no sales tax or have developed solutions to accommodate this scenario that we're talking about today. As a result, they are seeing the tourism dollars associated with the delivery of these vehicles rather than California. SB 6.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
SB 680 will allow, excuse me?
How do you just made a statement. I want to know, how do you know that? Has there been a study?
Oh, excuse me.
Know that?
I know it personally because I helped to organize a sale of a vehicle to a Texas legislator who could not, who wanted to take delivery at the factory, but ended up taking it in Las Vegas.
And let me ask you a question. Do you know, maybe your tax guy can tell us this, what's the, just currently as of orders of magnitude, how many of these cars have you sold out of state that have been subject to tax here in California? I mean, obviously, and secondly, have you done any homework to determine what that price is and how much, what that burden is? I mean, you know, we're getting the money. I'm not, again, I always like to ask questions to just ask them, make sure they're on the record. But what's the impact of this so far? How many cars have been sold out of state, of your cars that you've sold? There's a heck of a lot of them in California because I see them everywhere.
I don't have those numbers in front of me, and my name is Mark Olson, tax director with Tesla Motors.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Good morning. So I don't have those numbers in front of me, but California approximately represents 40% of our U.S. sales, and the rest of those sales are dispersed throughout the rest of the country.
Around the world, too, aren't you selling internationally?
Oh, absolutely.
So what's the international number, 10%?
No, actually, I think it's much higher than that. I believe that
So if it's higher than that, let's say it's 30%, that's 70, so it's 30% of rest around the country. How many vehicles is that? How much money is it? I'm just trying to get orders of magnitude here.
Again, I don't have those numbers in front of me, but if we were to do just the rough math of selling roughly 50,000 vehicles at an average selling price between 90 and 100,000.
You have a question?
No, I just technically don't have the numbers of how many we sold.
No, you got to know. It sounds like it's about, if it's a third, probably like about 10, 15,000 around the country that have been subject to this tax. And if the average cost is 80 grand, right? And so you're talking about round numbers, $8,000 a car of 80,000, 10% tax, right? It's pretty simple to figure out.
Well, but, excuse me, Senator, the reason that we're not prepared to give those numbers today is because those consumers, those purchasers from New York and New Jersey and Texas and Florida, they're not coming to California currently to take delivery of their car. They're paying their sales tax in those states, which is why, frankly, it's frankly not necessarily pertinent to this specific issue because California is not missing out on that revenue.
Yeah, that's how the question was asked. I'm trying to understand. So you're saying that let's assume I'm in a state that doesn't have a distribution system, that prohibits my distribution system, and I want to buy one of your vehicles or a vehicle from one of the electric car companies that Senator Wieckowski just referred to. The question is, if I go out and send you a check and say, deliver it to me in my state, I can still get it even though I don't have a distribution system and I don't pay California tax. Is that fair?
No, you pay tax where you register the vehicle. So
Well, you register the vehicle, that's correct. I know that, but I'm just trying to get a clear record. Right, where you buy a car now, it's like under Bradley Burns. You go out and you pay tax. So what you're saying is we want to, this bill, the real purpose, and it's the reason why Senator Wieckowski made the introduction he did, is that we want to encourage people to come to California to buy it and take delivery here. Because if they take delivery here, there'll be collateral economic benefits from them showing up to California, but then they don't have to pay tax. And right now, they don't want to come here because if they take delivery here, they're going to pay California sales tax and it costs them an extra $8,000.
in
Is that a
addition
fair
to the
statement?
sales tax that they pay already.
Does that make sense? No? No. Yeah, I want to listen to him. What do you think?
I just think it's a huge overstatement.
Yeah,
They're gonna come here, they're gonna spend money, and,
right.
I mean,
Yeah, you got to get the number
There's-
before it
there's-
goes to appropriations. You got
There's no expectation that there's thousands of people that are going to fit into this, right?
Yeah.
That's not, but there is some market of people that at least for the Tesla, they want to come to the site, they want to see it, they want to take it. I don't know anybody that ever went to Sweden to buy a Volvo, but I know that they did that for years. That they had a tourism element that they would say, come over, buy a Volvo, drive it around, and then we'll ship it back. And it was cheaper for you to own it at that time. But I don't know anybody that did it, but I know people that did it. I don't think it's the thousands of people that will come in and take advantage of it. I guess we will get back to you. I mean, I don't have the numbers of how many, all the different states, or they don't have the numbers of the different people that have contacted the manufacturer to take direct sales versus just having a outlet in their state and they just purchase it there, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's our jurisdiction, but I certainly think that you're going to need those numbers for appropriations. Is that a fair statement?
what's fiscal?
Yeah,
Today, the deadline's today.
yeah, goes to appropriations.
Today's the deadline.
So, okay, anything, you have a question?
Hear the story. Texas legislator can't buy the car in Texas, so he comes to California, doesn't want to pay the $8,000 sales tax, buys the car in Vegas instead.
That's not entirely correct.
I'm-
Yeah. So there are states around the country that do not have nearly as appropriate laws as the state of California does when it comes to enabling direct sales. So we'll use Texas as an example. Texas has a prohibition on manufacturer sales for any type of vehicle, including Teslas. So what they cannot prohibit is online sales. So any consumer, including this legislature, could go on to our website and purchase the vehicle. They are then, they engage with us on the process of actually having their car built to their specification, and then the car is built. They are able to take delivery of the car anywhere along that process as soon as the car is done. What he wanted to do was come to the factory, take a tour of the factory, and ultimately drive his car back to Texas, where he would and has paid Texas sales tax. In the absence of being able to find some recourse which did not require him to pay double sales tax, California sales tax and Texas sales tax, he went and had the car delivered. He arranged to have the car delivered to Las Vegas, where Nevada provides, I believe it's a 3-day permit or something to that effect for a small fee, a small administrative fee, which then he drove the car from Las Vegas to Texas.
So I go to Ford Motor Company and I say, build me a Fusion, and I'm going to pick it up in Detroit. Am I going to get a sales tax in Detroit or use tax? And then I bring it to California and I pay a sales tax and use tax here as well?
I don't believe that Ford has the ability to customize build your cars, but to the specific tax issue, Mark can probably address that.
Yeah, so a number of states offer what we generally call a non-resident exemption, which allows out-of-state customers to go into the selling state to purchase a vehicle for ultimate registration outside of that state. I can't tell you if Michigan has that off the top of my head, but I can tell you a number of states do allow this non-resident exemption, including Nevada that Mr. Witt just mentioned.
Okay, so he buys it in Vegas, takes it to Texas, pays sales use tax in Texas, which is whatever percent it is. And so we're trying to avoid double taxation. Is that what we're talking about? Okay, thank you.
Others in support?
Morning, Chair and members. Teresa Cook on behalf of the California Travel Association. I want to apologize to the committee and staff for not having gotten our letter in time for the analysis, but I'm here to give our support for the collateral economic benefits, as you put it, within the region. So do appreciate everyone's support today.
No problem. Thank you. Others in support? Opposition? Oh, you want? Let me just let the tax guy at Tesla finish talking. Anything else you want to say?
Nothing further, but I'm here to answer any further questions.
Thank you. Any opposition to this measure? Further questions from the committee? Since we kind of were bouncing around, Senator Wachowski, would you like to close?
No, right now, I believe that nobody's doing this. We're getting 100% of zero. There's nobody in their right mind would pay California sales tax to take a car out of Fremont or Hawthorne or wherever it's being manufactured and then go back home to their place and pay the double tax. So this is an opportunity. It's not a giant win-win, but it's a little opportunity to have people come into the state and see what a beautiful place each of you represent, and I urge your vote.
Secondly, thank you so much, sir. Senator Pavley moves the bill. Secretary, call the roll. Oh, the motion is, I apologize. Did you accept the amendments? I didn't hear that. I apologize.
Yes.
So it's a do pass as amended to appropriations, okay? Secretary, call the roll, please.
Hertzberg.
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Wynn. Bell. Aye. Bell, aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hernandez, aye. Laura. No. Laura, no. Morlock.
Aye.
Morlock, aye. Pavley. Aye. Pavley, aye. Yeah, 5-1.
5-1, we'll keep that open, sir. Okay, we have, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have members of the committee remaining are Bell, De Leon, Hernandez, and Laura. Senator Bell, SB 16. File item number 1. Yes. Oh, yeah.
all voted.
Ready to go? Okay, Senator Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm pleased to present SB 16. This is a bill related to transportation funding for road maintenance in the state of California. Firstly, I'd like to accept the amendments as noted in the committee analysis. This is the amendments regarding floor stock tax issues and delayed implementation by the Board of Equalization. They're in the comments, and we accept those amendments. SB 16 addresses the issue of crumbling streets, cracking highways, and how to fix them. The state transportation system is critical to California's economic well-being and enables us to move goods, people, ideas around and through the state. All of us who drive share the responsibility to maintain our roads. We use the roads, we wear them down. In return, we must properly maintain them because it's cheaper than rebuilding a ruined freeway or a ruined street. California now faces a $59 million backlog in state highways that will grow in absence of a solution. There is a sense of urgency, and this is necessary. My bill, SB 16, creates such a much-needed temporary funding plan to address the maintenance backlog of our aging system. My bill is based on 4 principles. First, it establishes an equitable financing strategy. Everyone contributes their fair share for using our roads. This includes returning the late fees from the general fund to road maintenance. Secondly, my bill includes protections to ensure that funding goes only to road maintenance. Third, it establishes efficiencies in Caltrans to ensure projects are completed on time and on budget. Finally, my bill provides funding at the state, county, and city level to address road maintenance needs at all levels. SB 16 will save the state money in the future and alleviate the need to raise even higher tax revenues in the future years. We have a long way to go, but I think most everyone can agree on the needs. Let's come together and address that issue now instead of letting the problem grow and expecting someone else to resolve the issue later. Respectfully, after I vote, and I have witnesses, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Please, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members, Mark Watts, Senator, last time we discussed infrastructure, we were on the dais together, and some of the conversation we had at that time is finding its way into this legislation. I'm going to limit myself to talking about the taxes and the tax policy in the bill briefly, real briefly. First, the framework of the bill represents what we think is a very balanced approach. It doesn't rely on any one particular tax to finance the burden of the objective, which is to at least replace the amount of annual funds we were spending for Proposition 1B, and perhaps even more than that. We've found through our own political research that this balanced approach is well received by the public, and we can document that and come talk to you later at some other point if you'd like to see that. On the particular taxes themselves, you know, the fundamental problem we are experiencing is that the gas tax is not doing what it used to do in the 50s and 60s, that is grow with travel in California, and that's due to other federal and state policies. However, it is a tried and true source, and it is still producing a heck of a lot of revenue per year, and it's probably the most efficient tax that.
What's the impact been of the Dutra bill? Remember, was it 42 or 45 we passed years ago?
Yes.
We took the sales tax on gasoline, we added it. What's been the impact on that?
The impact is, in the intervening years, through the tax swap, that was converted to the price-based excise tax, so that's already embedded in the gas tax now that's paid at the pump. So.
I was. I remember the triple flip. No, I remember that. Yeah, I evades me. Okay, I'm sorry.
So-
Please, I'm sorry.
Continuing further, the registration fee is a familiar fee or tax that's paid by the motorist, is also authorized by the legislature to be a capital expenditure revenue stream for transportation back in 2010, and later was eclipsed by Prop 26, so it's no longer available. But it was recognized by the legislature as a viable tax source for capital investments and maintenance. And finally, the VLF itself is not traditionally a general fund source, but is allied with payments made by the motorist as they go through their annual renewal process. So we find that each of the three core taxes, and I consider the diesel akin to the gas tax, that the three core tax approaches are appropriate for the purposes we're talking today, and it fits in the framework that we know is somewhat acceptable to the people of California. So with that, I'll bring it to a close and ask for your support.
Thanks, sir. Good enough.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members. Jennifer Whiting with the League of California Cities, also testifying for Kiana Bess with the California State Association of Counties, as she's on jury duty today. Both the League and CSAC are supporters of SB 16 because we think it brings a critical funding source for the local streets and roads system. SB 16's combination of ensuring that existing transportation revenues fund transportation projects, and it's targeted to tax and fee increases, strikes the right policy and fiscal balance needed to address this momentous challenge. In addition to the $59 billion shortfall for the state system, the local streets and roads system is facing a $79 billion 10-year shortfall over the next 10 years. We don't know that there's a single solution to the entire problem. However, it's very clear that we have to act now. The cities, counties, and regional transportation agencies have recently finished our 2014 needs assessment on the local system that found that a 5-year delay in additional investment in the system will cost California taxpayers $11 billion. That's just the act of inaction will cost us $11 billion over the next 5 years. The local system is critical to goods movement, farm-to-market needs, and interregional travel, and SB 16 is a critical component of fixing the system. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members, Jose Mejia with the California State Council of Laborers. You know, I don't want to bore you. I think this legislature, certainly this committee, understands the importance it is for job creation when you invest in infrastructure. And it's not so much just the folks that build these facilities or expand these facilities, but rather the domino effect that it takes into the economy. I'm very, very happy Senator Bell introduced SB 16. I know that we have a piece of legislation, or a proposal, I should say, on the Assembly side as well, too. And it's been many, many years that we have seen any type of concerns of trying to address our infrastructure needs in the state of California. I think that SB 16 has been drafted in a position where you're not going after, as already has said, trying to find a funding mechanism and try to do it in a very appropriate way, in a very bold way that I consider, by not putting the burden on any one particular area. I still believe in general that state governments should include this as a major component when we start looking at funding in general. We have failed to do that over the years. As earlier was said too, the gas tax obviously has come down to a situation where no longer could afford to fund the needs of the state, whether it be roads, transit, et cetera, et cetera. Once again, this is something that would boost or continue to boost this economy with job creation and a domino effect for all the various components that has to fit to be able to build infrastructure in California. I respectfully urge your vote.